Hello everyone and welcome to Rasha Podcast. This podcast is made for you who want to learn how to take care of your health and also for other subjects. I will answer to your questions that I get on Instagram and YouTube. And remember, Rasha Podcast doesn't substitute a professional medical advice. Hello everyone and welcome again to this new episode of Rasha Podcast. I'm your host Rasha Bia. In today's episode, I want to talk about a very common problem many suffer from. It is IBS or Irritable Bowel Syndrome. I will just call it IBS so that I don't repeat myself. This syndrome is observed in 7 to 16% of Americans and 10 to 15% of around the world. 40 of them have mild symptoms, and 25% have really painful symptoms, and it's really bad. IBS is characterized by chronic abdominal pain with diarrhea and constipation episodes, sometimes both of them. It depends actually on the situation on the patient. Unfortunately, this syndrome will have really bad effects on the patient's quality of life. If you have this, I really can know what's happening, and I know it's really bad, and I'm really trying to give you the information here in this episode and help you to know what you need to know so that you can be guided. The diagnosis of IBS depends on really clear symptoms. They are not so hard to discover. There are some tests the doctor can perform in order to eliminate other possible diseases with similar symptoms to IBS. Up to now, this disease is not really clear at 100%. There are always new update info about it, and hopefully it is getting clearer with time. One of the main reasons behind this chronic disease, we can have an abnormal gut immunity. It means like the immunity of the gut is just weird and something bad is happening there. You can have also leaky gut. I talked about it many times on my Instagram channel. Or you can have a change in microbiome structure or the composition of the microbes inside your guts. And this understanding the reason is one way to find solution actually. Bad carbs absorption can be also one of the reasons behind IBS. There are also a lot of causes that exist as well, such as a lot of stress, which can be physical or emotional. It's one of the main causes also behind IBS. You can have a very bad diet. A very bad diet can have an effect on every single thing you can ever imagine, or an excessive intestine activity, etc., etc. There are many reasons. I'm not going to get into every single one. As I said, the diagnosis of it is really important because we really need to eliminate other diseases that can be more dangerous, like Crohn's disease or colon inflammation. Those, trust me, are more complicated and harder and more dangerous than IBS. Treatment of IBS is, to be honest, is really hard, and it's different from one person to another. That's why we need to consider each case seriously and each case individually. Medicines or taking medicines alone without even knowing the reasons behind won't fix the problem. It will maybe just reduce symptoms for a day or some hours that will come back again after medicine's effects is gone. For this reason again, I made this episode in order to understand and really dig into this subject, or at least we try to reduce IBS effects on life's quality, and I know it's important for you to know, and I have two news for you though. The good one, this syndrome is not dangerous, okay? And it's not life-threatening. The bad news though, it is hard to treat it at 100%. We can for sure find and treat the reasons or the causes behind, and also decrease the symptoms. and we consider that as kind of healing. The understanding of the reasons behind is a huge step, and it honestly needs time, effort, and as I said, each case is different from one another. For example, let's say an example. Tomatoes, for example. They contain lectins. Remember the lectins episode I talked about previously in this podcast? Mainly the lectins here in tomatoes, they exist in its seeds. And it can really be bad for one individual who is sensitive to lectins and not for another one. You understand the point, right? Each one and each body is different. The structure, genetics, etc. That's why each person suffering from IBS will need a special diet to him or her, special medicines, and also special exercises. And this is where all the difficulties exist. In this episode, I really want to focus on diet, okay? And I want to suggest for you different existing diets. It is really interesting to know them in order to discuss them with your doctor. I always ask you to talk with your doctor. Like, it's not something you will really realize and figure it out alone. The presence of a doctor is very important in this kind of syndrome. Another good info to know, understanding someone's diet need a lot of time and patience. I just said that. That's why I will give you a suggestion. It is so important to write down every single detail about your diet. It is like keeping a diary or a journal. You need to write all the symptoms after each meal, what makes you feel good and what makes you feel bad, until you find everything you need to know about the diet. Furthermore, this diary or journal will really help your doctor and guide him through the process. Let's dig into a real subject and talk about the different diets that exist and which can help IBS patients. So far, there are 4 known diets. I will talk about each one. The first one is the gluten-free diet. The second is lactose-free diet. The third one is a weird one, a brat diet. Brat stands for banana, rice, applesauce, and toast. It's a weird one. And the fourth one, which I'm going to get very deep into it's the Low Fodmap Diet. Let's start with the first one. The first one is gluten-free diet. Very helpful for patients suffering from IBS and also for celiac patients and non-celiac gluten sensitivity patients. In this diet, you need to obviously take off all gluten. I talk about that many times on my Instagram channel. I'm one of the many people who cut off gluten from their diet, and trust me, it really feels great. Unfortunately, Algerian diet contains a lot of gluten consumption. Bread in all forms, pasta, pastries. One of our main traditional dish is a kind of pasta, like couscous. We have reshta like in English, reshta. It's also pasta. So it is extremely hard for so many to take off gluten. But if someone has IBS, I don't believe there is another choice if they want to feel better. But still, many still can't do it, unfortunately. Many foods contain gluten. I think you all know them. Anything made from wheat, white flour, biscuits, pasta, whole grain, couscous, pizzas, etc. Oats can have traces of gluten. You have also barley, you have semolina, and many other ones. Gluten, though, is not found in fruits and vegetables. Also, in IBS, you should be very careful from fruit because it contains glucose and fructose. You'll know about it after in this podcast. All meat and poultries are really fine. They're really great. Fish is awesome. Quinoa, rice don't contain gluten, so they are also allowed. Granola is also fine. Chia seeds, flax seeds are great, etc., etc. Corn is also good, but make sure it's really natural. Unfortunately, many is GMO. You have also olive oil, coconut oil, dairies like real butter, I keep talking about butter a lot. Cheese, except blue cheese, goat or camel milk, they are really great. I'm one of the person who really not promote for cow milk, so just don't expect me to say cow milk. You have natural yogurt. They are all gluten-free products. That's all for the gluten-free diet. The second one is lactose-free diet. When we talk about lactose, lactose is a type of sugar found in milk. This one is for the patients who are unable to digest milk sugar or lactose. It means when they drink milk, they'll suffer from bloating, diarrhea, or constipation, abdominal pain, etc. We should, though, make the difference between lactose intolerance and dairy allergy. Lactose intolerance, like you just don't support lactose, that's it. But when you have a dairy allergy, like it's some kind, you don't support anything existing in dairies. Like all dairies should be like not allowed in the diet. Many studies, many studies mentioned that in lactose intolerant patients, they can handle from 12 grams to 15 grams of lactose. Like some studies say that, but I think it's less than that. In this diet, you need to take off anything that contains lactose. Butter, anything made with milk, like some pastries, like some creams, some cheeses, all kind of milk, whey proteins, some chocolates, they all contain lactose. Be aware that yogurt is not supposed to contain lactose. You know why? Because the lactose is supposed to be digested by the good bacteria in the yogurt so that it grows, so that it makes the yogurt. So yogurt doesn't supposed to contain lactose. Cheese like cheddar, feta cheese, camembert don't contain lactose or at high levels. They have just a little, so they are fine to consume. You can replace dairies with almond milk, coconut milk, oat milk, rice milk. They all are good milks if you want to replace your daily milk. The third type of diet is the weird one. It's the brat diet. It's a kind of, as I said, like a very bizarre diet, and I'm still wondering how they came up with it. Before, like it was used before, many pediatricians used to give it to kids, right? Those kids have stomach problems. The idea was that this diet gives the stomach and intestines rest and reduces the stool amount. I don't know, like it's so weird. But this diet is really a bad idea. There is no fibers, no proteins, no good fats, and all those are really necessary to the body. So with this diet, we can get into really bad nutrition, and it is really bad idea and definitely won't heal children. So this is just for your culture. Please do not try this. Well, the fourth one, it's the one I'm gonna get very deep into. I'll talk in details about it. It's the Low Fodmap Diet. Fodmap, F-O-D-M-A-P. First, we need to understand what is the Fodmap. It stands for fermentable oligodemonosaccharides and polyols. It's a long name, so just remember Fodmap. We can describe them as the small size sugars, which are not absorbed that much, or they are so badly digested. The none or the little absorption can be explained by the fermentation, which is one of the main reasons behind colon bloating. When something is fermented, so they're gonna produce gas, right, and thus bloating. It's a normal thing. The problem is food containing FODMAP, there are really a lot. Their effects are so different from an individual to another because, as I said before, each one is unique. Each one has unique intestine structures and composition. So also that's why it is fundamental, as I said, to keep track of your symptoms after each meal you have. A low FODMAP diet, the objective of it, like the main objective of it, is to discover what harms you and what doesn't, in order to make you feel better and heal, to make you pick up the food that works for you. If you remember from the first two diets, when someone feels bad and have IBS symptoms, the first thing they think about or they advise the patient to do is to stop lactose or stop gluten, even if they are not the real reason or cause behind the syndrome, or even without even being sure about intolerance or allergy. And actually it's wrong. You cannot just say, hey, you have IBS, the first thing you need to stop is gluten and lactose. It's good to stop them first, but sometimes they are not the main reason behind. You can stop them and still really feel bad. So the real reason can be hidden behind FODMAP foods, right? There are many foods with FODMAP inside it. Like, it is quite impossible to eliminate everything. For that reason, you need to go slowly until you find the best combination that works for you. Oh, and one notice, this is not a diet to lose weight. So please do not take it as a diet to lose weight. That's not the main objective of it. I will briefly talk about some foods which contains FODMAP and which don't, okay? Let's start with the one that don't contain FODMAP or contain just a little. We have veggies like carrots, cucumber, salads, green beans, zucchini, green pepper, endive, and I don't know if it's pronounced this way, pumpkins, radish, spinach. I'm not a big fan of spinach, actually. You have also some fruits like citrus fruits, banana, kiwi, pineapple, blueberry, watermelon. They contain like they are low FODMAP, even though I'm not a big fan of consuming fruits when you have IBS. But what I'm telling you now is from the theory and from documents I read. Dairies like hard cheese, camembert, blue cheese, low lactose dairy products like yogurt and free lactose and milk, they are all good. They contain low FODMAP. Legumes and starchy foods like lentils, quinoa, white rice, potatoes, meat, they contain low FODMAP. All meats and fish are FODMAP free, totally. So I'm really wondering why so many people keep saying meat is not good. Like, anyways, I'm not gonna get into these details for another time. But let's go to FODMAP foods. FODMAP foods, everything that contains galactose, fructan, lactose, fructose, and polyols. Remember those 5. They are just small sugar, and you can see fructose exists in it. So that's why I'm talking about the fruits. Mainly all fruits contain fructose. So for the fructan and galactan are mainly found in garlic, artichoke, mushrooms, legumes like beans, peas, some whole grains like black rice, oat, bulgur, whole bread, etc. Lactose, which is a disaccharide, contained in milk. It's contained in milk and everything related to it. I talked about it recently. The fructose found in fruits, guys. Okay, it's found in mainly all fruits. Table sugar, white sugar. It contains fruits. It contains fructose. Mango, apples, pear, plum, grapes, lychee, apricots, many others contains fructose. So that's why, like, when you are someone who is really suffering from IBS, I'm not telling you to stop fruits forever, but stop them for a while. They may be one of the reasons behind. Polyols is a FODMAP, and they are kind of artificial stuff found in sugar-free cakes or artificial foods, prepared foods, products that are like very prepared. We are talking also about many possible additives. What I just said is actually not an exhaustive list, okay? It is up to you to check what do you feel after each meal, and then you can figure out what to eliminate in order to keep your colon really in good condition. A small notice for vegans and vegetarians: they really need special attention from their practitioner and doctors if they want to follow this low FODMAP diet. You should also know that this kind of diet is not forever. It is just for a period. in order to heal what's damaged in your guts and colon, and also to discover what's worked for you and what doesn't. When someone sees the list, they will just say, oh my god, what am I supposed to eat now? Like, am I gonna starve myself? Because as I said, many foods contain FODMAP. But relax, guys, don't be scared. There are plenty of low FODMAP recipes. You can find them in one of the descriptions link in this podcast. Just go check it out. You will be happy. There are even specialized people who like do coaching about this diet. So bringing FODMAP food back in the diet must be really controlled and very careful and very slow. In the description of the podcast, you will also find an exhaustive list of allowed and non allowed food. You will just know everything you need to know. One of the main issues of this diet, as I said, if you don't pay attention, is that you won't get if you're not enough careful, you can fall into bad nutrition. So please be careful about this very important detail. The studies on this subject are still few kind of. There is still a lot to do in order to really understand. So far, there are observations which are mainly positive about this low FODMAP diet. If you get deeper into it, you need to know that this diet contains actually two steps. The first step is where you're gonna take off FODMAP foods from your diet. The second step is when we bring back progressively the food depending on how the patients and how you feel. All studies done asserted that 50 to 86% of patients had positive response to the diet. Studies around step 2, though, are very few because it was really complex to answer to the experiment conditions. It's hard to do the conditions. All available data talking about how effective this diet is come from nutritionist specialists and also from experienced and trained nurses. But still, data is lacking in order to apply this diet more globally. It is better to have a one-on-one approach. When I'm saying one-on-one, it means like a patient with his doctor, like individually, the one-on-one approach to help patients. Because each one, as I always said, is different from the other. We don't have the same microbiome or same guts. 39% of patients prefer this one-on-one consultation. But still, also group consultation can work very well and they are effective. So in some studies, they compared between the low FODMAP diet and a diet advised by NICE in UK. NICE is not a place. NICE is like the National Institute of Health and Care Excellence in the UK. It exists in the UK. They found that low FODMAP diet has really better results, with 76% of patients have positive response compared to 54% of patients using the NICE or the NICE diets. In another studies done in Sweden, they also compared a low FODMAP diet with another diet so this diet is telling patients to eat normal, don't overeat, eat slowly, reduce fats, reduce spices, reduce coffee and alcohol, reduce onions, reduce cabbage, beans, sodas, gums, sweeteners, finishing with all, like sorbitol. So this is the normal diet, okay, that they tell patients with IBS. And they compared this one with the patients doing low FODMAP diet. Those are the results. They found that 57% of patients who finished the low FODMAP diet and 50% of the normal diet have 50% of reductions in symptoms in 4 weeks. They were expecting, though, a higher percentage with low FODMAP diet, like 68 to 86%, and those percentage came from previous studies data. As a final conclusion, Low Fodmap diet has many proofs of effectiveness in managing abdominal pain in adult patients suffering from IBS. But unfortunately, many ignore how to apply it, and they sometimes give it a bad interpretation. So you should really be careful about it, and you should really pick up your health practitioner doing this. This diet must be applied in the right conditions, with the right education, and it must be done, as I said, with a pro or a trained medical professional. Many other studies, though, on a deeper level are still needed. To complete this episode, I want to add for you guys, because I love you, I want to add extra information that will help you if you are suffering from IBS. It will help you reduce chances of having the bad symptoms. Of course, after the diet or the healthy eating, there are many things you can do or a patient can do to reduce the symptoms, such as exercising. I keep talking a lot about exercising in every condition. If you want to gain weight, if you want to lose weight, if you want to feel good, if you want to have a good energy, exercising is really important for your life, for each one of us. Often after an exercise, symptoms can really decrease, and with time, exercising will help you fight this syndrome. So it's a very good deal for you. It is advised to practice 2.5 hours of cardio, medium level, for example, or 1 hour and 15 minutes of hard cardio, or you just can mix between the both. And you should add muscle strength exercises twice a week, like resistance exercises that are really good. In general, 30 minutes a day or an hour every 2 days are really helpful for you. Don't forget to talk about this detail with your doctor or your practitioner. Exercises will also help you lower your stress. Stress is, we all suffer from stress. It's something we have every single day, and everyone has his reasons and his life. So stress is a very big part of it, and exercises will help you with that. It's very important cause behind IBS, right? Stress is one of the main reasons also. Healing methods contain also to reduce stress. You have the breathing exercises, you have yoga exercises, and you have also meditation. And I have many friends who talk about meditation. Make sure to follow them. Meditation will really help you with so many other issues as well. And finally, also, I need to say this though, to help you. You can also help your guts with supplements. Of course, with healthy eating. I always said if you don't have healthy eating and you have supplements, it's kind of useless, right? So with healthy eating, those supplements will definitely help your digestive system. It will protect it. They will also fortify your immune system, make it stronger, and also your good gut microbes. Some supplements are really good for that. You will find a link to each supplement I'm suggesting with a little explanation of each in this podcast episode's description. If you're living in Europe or France specifically, those supplements are very available there, so take advantage of them. I wish we have most of them here in Algeria, but we don't. And don't forget, I hope you like this episode. It's quite long, I know, but I try to give you what I know and what I get from the theory and the documents and the studies I read, and try to make it into all this episode to help you guys. So if you have someone suffering from IBS, or if you are suffering from IBS and you know another person, share with him or with her this episode, and it will really help me and also help them. And don't forget, if you have questions, do not hesitate to send them to me, or just leave a comment, leave a like, leave a 5 stars if you like the episode. And as I always say, take care of yourself, take care of your health. See you in future episodes. Your health, your choice. Bye bye.